Hey guys, it's Missy. Yes, I'm wearing the same clothes that I had on in my last video, but I need to get a lot of videos done, so we're just gonna film them all in one day. And I have this magical mustache septum ring that one of my friends sent me. If you watch the video that was before this, you will see all the stuff she sent me. So I'm wearing that right now. If you don't like it, then oh well. Anyway, this video is going to be about like the second week of September and how messed up it was. Like that was the worst freaking week of my life, okay? So sit back, be prepared for this really crazy what the fuck story. Okay, so it all started on the 4th of September. I went to Cedar Point with my boyfriend and his brothers, and we didn't even make it to Cedar Point yet. I got out of the car walking to our hotel, and somebody out there thought it was the most wonderful idea to put a square light in the middle of the sidewalk for whatever god-awful fucking reason, and I tripped over it. And when I tripped, I fell, and like this part of my ankle went on the curb of the sidewalk, and I just like hit the ground. My leg was all ripped up, it was bleeding everywhere. I had no idea what the heck was going on. I just kind of sat there and looked around like, well, I'm on the ground now. I'm pretty darn sure that there was a chunk of my skin laying out on that sidewalk somewhere, and I'm pretty sure a seagull probably ate it. So I got home really late Monday night and decided to go to the hospital the next day, which was Tuesday. So I went out to my local hospital with my mom, and we got called back and everything, and we're sitting in this giant waiting room. There's a man sitting directly in front of me, bleeding out. He like had his towel wrapped around him. He's like holding onto his stomach. He was stabbed in the stomach. He's bleeding out. Why he's waiting in the waiting room and not back in the freaking emergency room is beyond me. So we're waiting and waiting and waiting. 2.5 hours go by and we never get called back. So we're sitting there. The man is still bleeding out. He's turning white. There's blood all over the floor. I'm scared to death. And about 3 hours went by and another nurse came out, and she's like, I'm really sorry to inform all of you, but you all have to leave. We're way too busy today. And proceeded to tell us where the nearest hospitals were, which were 30 and 45 minutes away. So that man was probably dead. He was still sitting there when I left. But I was like, okay, you know what? Screw everybody. I'm not gonna worry about my fucking foot. So I went to work for 2 days straight. I have to stand all day and put newspapers together. I have to lift at least 20 to 30 pounds every 5 minutes doing this work. So my foot got worse and worse and worse, and it started turning black and blue and red and purple and all the colors of the freaking rainbow. So Thursday, I finally gave up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to the hospital. I don't even care. So my boyfriend was working in Youngstown, Ohio that Thursday. If any of you know about Youngstown, it is known for crime and crazy people. So I'm like, okay, maybe the Youngstown hospital will be a little bit better. I was in that hospital before and they were really good, so maybe they'll help me. So I get to this hospital. It's really nice. I get called back really fast. They check my foot and stuff. I'm waiting in this waiting room, and a large man busts through the emergency room doors, and he's like, I'm gonna shoot this bitch up. I'm gonna light the motherfucker up. He's screaming and threatening to shoot the freaking hospital up. I don't know if he had a gun, but he was waving his arms around, and I was like, oh my god, I am going to die today. I'm gonna die. There's no chance of me running because I can't run. So I'm just sitting there like, oh my lord. And then all these cops, they have like armor on, tackled this guy and drug him outside. There's like a big giant window beside where I'm sitting. So I look out the window. This man's out there beating the crap out of some other guy. And so the cops arrest him, stick him in the back of their car, and then they come inside and they're talking to a nurse right behind where I'm sitting. And they said that he had like traumatic brain injuries and he was out of his mind, didn't know what he was doing. He thought he was somebody else. He thought he was somewhere else. And he was gonna kill everybody. Like, okay. So then we get called back into this waiting room in like the back of the emergency room. It's probably the size of my bathroom. There's a girl in front of me complaining that she's super duper hot. It's 90 degrees outside that day. She had on a t-shirt, a sweatshirt over top of it, sweatpants, leg warmers, boots, and then she had a towel wrapped around her. And I'm like, bitch, you are hot because you don't know what weather appropriate clothing is. Then there's like a mega Trump supporter over here in this corner. She has a Trump shirt on, she has a Trump hat, she has stickers on her legs. So she's sitting there complaining about Trump related things. And then this other girl comes in, and she had gotten a car wreck and she dislocated her shoulder. So her shoulder's like all messed up and creepy looking. She's sitting beside me and I'm like, where the heck am I? Where am I? What am I doing here? Why? So then I look out this way into the hallway. There's a girl dressed as the new Suicide Squad Harley Quinn walking down the hallway. She had on the shorts, she had the net thingies on her legs, she had the boots, her hair, everything. Am I in hell? I think I'm in hell. I have died and gone to hell. And then she turns around and her makeup is all over her face, like everywhere. Eyeliner up here, eyebrows over here, lipstick was on her neck. She looked really messed up, and she's just walking up and down the hallway. So they call me back to get my x-ray, and normally I've had tons of x-rays on my legs. They tell you to take your shoes off and then lay down on the table. She's like, you can take your shoes off if you want to, it doesn't matter though. I'm like, okay, how are you gonna read an x-ray with a shoe in the way? So I took my shoes off, and like 3 seconds later, she's like, okay, you're done, go. I'm like, okay, did you even take the freaking picture? So then I walk back to the waiting room, and now the lady that doesn't know how to wear summer clothing and the Trump lady are bitching at each other. I don't know where the dislocated shoulder woman went, but she's somewhere around this hospital. So those two are bitching. Freaking Jurassic Park's on the TV, so there's like dinosaurs, and then Trump lady over there complaining, and the freaking lady doesn't know how to wear clothes, so over there screaming, and I'm like, oh my god. So then a nurse comes in and wraps my foot in this waiting room. I don't know why she didn't take me to another room. I don't even know. She wrapped my foot up, gave me an air cast, and then I was able to leave. And I'm like, thank god I'm out of this hellhole. Like, what the crap. So then as soon as I step out of the hospital, the clouds opened up, and it was like Niagara Falls coming out of the freaking sky. You could not see 3 feet in front of you. That's how freaking hard rain it was. I have to wade through this water. I need an arc to get to my boyfriend's work. So I am walking through like this much rain with one shoe on, another foot wrapped up. I would have rather died. Really, that was a horrible day. I would have rather died. Make it to my boyfriend's house, and that night was okay. It was a perfectly good night. The next day, we decided that it would be fun to go to this really giant outdoor flea market. And I went because there's this little Amish bakery, and they sell donuts that are like this big, not exaggerating, they're freaking huge, and they're only $1, and they are the best freaking donuts under the face of the sun. So I go there, I get my donut, I'm sitting on a bench eating my donut, and this man came up to me, and he was maybe 30, maybe not even that old, and he's like, so, did the heroin make you do that? And I was just like, I looked at my boyfriend, and I'm like, what? He's like, did the heroin make you do this? I'm like, what are you talking about, the heroin? He's like, well, I know a lot of people that do that to their ear and their face are on heroin. So I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna deck this guy. And I just had that look on my face. My boyfriend's gone. He had already left because he didn't want to get in the middle of this. So then the guy stands there and tells me this really long story about some movie he watched about a guy that did heroin, and he chopped his arms off so he wouldn't do heroin anymore, and that it was horrible, and that I need to stop doing heroin. And the whole time I'm like, I'm not doing heroin. I don't do drugs. I am not a drug addict. And he's just blah 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 about heroin. And then he's like, well, why would you even want to do that to yourself? You know you're gonna have to pay thousands of dollars to get that fixed. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting my ears cut. So then he goes on about the procedure of getting your ears chopped and reconstructed and all this stuff, and the whole time I'm like, I'm not getting my ears cut, I'm not getting my ears cut, I'm not getting my ears cut, and the man is not listening. And he keeps going on telling me that I'm never gonna get a job, I'm not gonna be successful in life, I need to stop doing heroin. I was like, dude, I work at a newspaper company that is a very large newspaper company. I consider myself successful. I'm not on drugs, so please go away. And he's just not listening. He keeps going on and on and on about heroin. And then he's like, well, I better get back to my wife. And I'm like, yes, please go back to your freaking wife. And he just walks away. I was so mad, but I didn't say anything rude to the guy. I was just like, okay, whatever, go on. So apparently I'm on heroin. You know, everybody that stretches their ears is on heroin. So if you have stretched ears, congratulations, you are now a heroin addict. I don't think anything else horrible happened this week. Besides all of that, that is most of the reason why I haven't been making videos, is because I hurt my foot really bad. I had to work overtime at my job and going to the hospital and all that crap, just dealing with a bunch of really weird stuff. So that was my really weird, messed up week. A lot of you guys asked me about it because I was putting stuff on Twitter that was like, what the heck? I think my bad luck or whatever has gone because I've been having a good week so far. I shouldn't say that because now it's gonna go like down the fucking drain. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a super duper fantastic day. Mwah.